Okay. Hello, my dear students. I'm your very own Rahul Sir, and welcome to the third and last part of the chapter Trumpet of Swans. In the last part, I left a surprise for you what is going to happen to the swan and who basically saved the swan from the red fox. Now, in this part, we will come to know. Then they noticed a movement in the bushes. Finally, the cob and the swan together noticed some movement in the bushes. Out stepped Sam Beaver, the boy who had visited them a month ago. Now, if the picture was clear to them, it was clear that Sam Beaver was the boy who saved them from the red fox. Seeing him, the swans knew that he had saved them from the fox. They realized that the boy was their friend after all. Means, if you remember the first lecture of this video, of this chapter, I taught you that Cobb became furious because he thought that the boy was their enemy. Now, after they found out that the boy saved them from the red fox, they finally came to know that he was not their enemy, rather he was their friend. Koho, koho, said the cob, means it's a sound. Koho, replied the swan. The pond rang with the sounds of victory and gladness. Means the sound of Koho filled the forest with the sound of victory and glad. Sam was thrilled, means he was surprised. He walked slowly around the shore and sat down on a log. He quietly went onto the shore and quietly sat on a log. The cob swam over toward Sam, climbed out of the pond and stood close to the boy. Means after paddling and crossing the pond, he stood near to Sam Beaver, looking at him in a friendly way and arching his neck gracefully. Means bowing head as if the cob is saying hi to the boy. Once he ran his neck far out cautiously and almost touched the boy. Sam never moved a muscle. Sam never moved a muscle means what? He was actually filled with surprised, and also he was frightened, and he didn't move a bit. His heart thumped from excitement and joy. Pumping of his heart thumped off with excitement and joy. The swan paddled back to her nest and returned to her eggs. She felt lucky to be alive. And finally, the cob and the swan crossed the pond back to their nest and went off. And finally, they were happy to be saved. Now, my dear students, we will wrap up this chapter by solving some MCQ questions related to this chapter. Let's start. This is exercise A of your book. Choose the correct answers to complete these sentences. If you have understood all the three parts properly, of course you will answer all the questions correctly. There are 5 questions. Let's start. The first question says the cob was furious because he, option A, did not want to be watched by a human deep inside a jungle, knew that the fox was trying to attack them. Of course, yes, option A is appropriate. Number 2, the swan asked the cob not to fight with the boy because, option A, she was afraid that the boy would hurt the cob. And option B, the boy was sitting quietly and had not attacked them. Of course, option B is the correct answer. Now coming to question number 3, the boy was sitting quietly on the log because he wanted to observe the birds and their behavior carefully. Option B, was filled with wonder at the sight of these rare birds and did not want to disturb or frighten them. Of course, third option B is appropriate. For question number 4, the swan did not want to leave her nest because she was afraid that enemies would attack her nest and steal her eggs. Option B, wanted to care for and pay all her attention to the eggs to hatch little cygnets out of them. Of course, option B is apt. And finally comes question number 5, my dear students. The cob swam over to the place where Sam was sitting in order to show that he was grateful for Sam's help. Or option B, scare him away before he tried to attack him. Option A is apt. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.